First off, I love to camp. I've been doing it my whole life, and I've never had a scary experience until this past summer. My boyfriend and I decided to go out to the gorge for some quality time camping. We had always gone with other people, but this time was the first time it would just be us two. When we got out of the car to prep our gear for the mile hike back to the camping spot, two sketchy looking dudes came out of their trailhead, eyed us, and went on to their old school WV camper van. I had a weird feeling but shrugged it off and proceeded back to our camping spot. I had previously camped in the same area a handful of times and I know it pretty well. Once we got back there, I knew a handful of different camping spots and proceeded to check them all out for us for the ideal one. I noticed what looked like someone camping further up the hill, so I picked a spot a little further down where we'd most be out of sight. It was starting to get dark by the time we got everything set up, so I figured I'd start looking for some firewood. And then suddenly, this guy appears out of nowhere, asks us if we'd like any help, and offered to sell us a bundle of firewood for $10. I laughed because we were in the woods, thus surrounded by wood which I could pick up off the ground for free. He then said I wouldn't find much wood because they'd already cleared it out over the past few weeks. Few weeks? I asked him. How long have you been camping up here? Oh, for about a little bit over a month, he replied, which I found strange because the longest anyone can camp in this area in the National Forest is 2 weeks. I already had the creeps about him and he claimed he was up there by himself. I asked him why I heard him yelling with someone then and why he referred to more people when talking about the wood. He stammered and was like, well, there's some dudes I know camping over up there or over the other side of the river. Then he proceeds to tell us that he's been lonely since arriving. He was from Pennsylvania, took a bus to Lexington, Kentucky, and had been living in the woods back behind where I currently work. I knew exactly where he was talking about because I see a lot of homeless people, immigrants, and drug addicts coming in and out of those woods every day. From what I gathered, he was basically a homeless person who had somehow got a ride out to the gorge and decided he would just live there instead. He'd been living on snakes, bugs, and selling firewood for food. He said we were the first people he'd seen in weeks. His stories were all over the place, and I knew he was lying about a lot of what he told us. He definitely wasn't alone, even though he claimed to be. He even took us up to his camp, where there was tons of stuff for several guys, not just one. He said he liked camping up top where he could see everything and everyone. By now it was getting dark, and he helped us get a fire going. I was trying to politely get him back on his way up the hill so I could just have a minute to process all of this. When he left, I started whispering to my boyfriend that there was no way I could sleep with that sketchy, creepy guy right up the hill. We didn't even have a knife or a gun or even a dog to protect ourselves with if we needed to. I quietly said, let's get all of our stuff together and get the hell out of here. We did, but we left our new tarp set up because it would make too much noise and he'd know we were leaving. To confirm my suspicions, I glanced up the hill and I saw silhouettes of at least 3 people inside through the closed blinds. As soon as I stood up with my pack ready to get out of Dodge, he came out and yelled, "How's it going down there?" And we proceeded to get out as quickly and as quietly as possible. In my mind, we were either going to get robbed, killed, or something else because he was not alone. His stories didn't add up, and his background of where he came from made me believe he was running away from something and was trying to hide by living off the grid. I called the Rangers the next day and told them about him. Luckily, all he got from us was a new set of tarps.